I think competition is a really good tool to use to grow aspects in a particular way. So, for example, if I had control of the flair bartending industry 20 years ago and you told me, Jumbles, make flair bartending more difficult and crazy, cool. So I'll make difficulty the main priority in comps, and then over time, everyone will be more difficult. And that's exactly happened.
Yeah.
So competition is definitely exactly what you said, but it's our responsibility to make a competition that funnels flair in the bartending industry. So for example, if you did a competition where it was an open bar and the flair bartender who gets the most tips wins, after 10 years' time, the evolution of how we make tips, because it's a competition, would dramatically increase. Or if it was a competition about how many people you can make laugh, or you've got a decibel meter measuring sound. How loud can you make the crowd in front of your bar cheer for you? Then in 10 years' time, all of those things would increase in that direction. Flair bartending tricks are cool, and that's what attracted us all to them in the first place. But it's just one tiny element of it. And I've seen so many better bartenders who can't do any fucking tricks, but they work with such flair. And you'll never have heard of them, you'll never see them in a comp, but they're the best flair bartenders I've ever seen. And I've seen so many guys on stage do fucking difficult tricks, but with zero flair. And just this robotic, emotionless. And another problem is when you're bartending, you have an incredible weapon, and that's your voice. And you use it a hell of a lot. If you make a fumble, you'll make a joke. If you make a drop, you'll make another joke. If you land a move, you'll make a joke. That you just talk all the time to people. It's such a social job. And on stage, you lose one of your biggest weapons. So it would be fantastic to see a competition that incorporates that as well. I just think for 30 years, we've tried one way of competition. For 30 years.
I know.
Let's try something new now, shall we?
I think it's coming. I do think it's coming, because you look at Roadhouse brought different formats, slightly different, and the competition you just mentioned, Andy Collinson put together with the Sky Vodka years ago about people flaring behind the bar and earning tips. Nicholas brought out ideas for battle comps, and he's probably got a whole bunch of other ones that he's not telling us. Nicholas, are you going to do them or not? So I definitely think that there's like this underlying agreement from a lot of the bigger names in the industry who've been around for a long time to go, yeah, it's becoming stale as it is. And I agree. I totally agree with you. Like this routine for 4 and 6 minutes or whatever is becoming stale, and there's a very small handful of people in the world who can do that well. And I love making a routine and making it fun for people, but the only person who it can truly be fun for is the person on stage, because it's a massive ego wank for them. And it's a disconnection from bartending, it's a disconnection from the people. Whereas, like you said, if you can make a competition where, just for example, you have to make 2 cocktails, and you can talk, or you can play a little bit of music, or you can do whatever you want. I would love to see that. And if you look at competitions these days, you have your 5 minutes on stage. People can still do that. There's nothing to say you have to play music.
And this is what I was coming to say earlier on. Just because the rules say one thing doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
The stage is not only for the competition, but that's your platform to reach people and inspire people.
Yeah.
So if you have a concept, and so many kids ask me for advice about their flair and about this and that, and the number one thing I say to them is you need a concept. You need a direction of what you think flair should be. And be the flair you want to see is the best advice that someone ever gave me, because that made me pursue Bottle Tin is King, because I wanted to see Bottle Tin.
Yeah.
Someone told me be the flair you want to see. So, okay, I'll just do Bottle Tin because that's what I like watching.
Yeah.
So I encourage other people to do the same thing.